Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating and mysterious aspects of ancient Egypt, the incredible relationship between Egyptians and cats. These creatures were so much more than pets. They were worshipped as divine beings, symbols of power and protection, and revered for their mystical qualities. Cats were at the center of Egyptian life in ways that still intrigue us today. Whether they were hunting vermin, symbolizing gods, or guarding the home, cats ruled the land in ways few other animals ever did. So sit tight, because we're about to uncover why cats truly ruled ancient Egypt. To truly understand why cats were so revered in ancient Egypt, we need to step back and explore the environment in which they thrived. Ancient Egyptian society was built around agriculture. The Nile River's annual floods provided fertile soil for growing grains, especially wheat and barley, which were staples of the Egyptian diet. But as anyone who's ever had a pantry full of grains knows, when there's food, there are pests. Rats, mice, and other small animals were a serious problem for the Egyptians, threatening not only their food stores but their way of life. This is where cats came in. The Egyptians saw these agile, sleek creatures as the perfect natural solution to this problem. Domestic cats, Felis sylvestris libica, a subspecies of the African wildcat, were skilled hunters and became essential in protecting the grain. Cats' stealthy movements, sharp claws, and keen hunting instincts allowed them to control pests efficiently. They didn't need traps or poisons. They could simply roam around and keep the household free from vermin. But there was more to the cat's role than just pest control. Cats began to symbolize order and balance in Egyptian society. Their ability to protect and maintain peace within the home became associated with the divine order of the universe. The ancient Egyptians believed that their land, their homes, and their crops were all gifts from the gods. And cats, with their protective and graceful nature, seemed like the perfect symbols of divine guardianship. As cats became more central to Egyptian society, their connection to the divine deepened, particularly with the goddess Bastet. Bastet, originally depicted as a lioness, was the goddess of home, fertility, childbirth, music, and, of course, cats. She was also the protector of the home, and like the cats that prowled through Egyptian households, she was seen as a fierce yet nurturing protector. Initially, Bastet was portrayed as a lioness, emphasizing her strength and warrior-like qualities. The lioness, after all, was a symbol of power and fierce protection. However, as Egyptian society became more peaceful, Bastet's image softened. She evolved into the form we are most familiar with today, the head of a cat with the body of a woman. This shift reflected the growing reverence for domestic cats, which were now seen not just as protectors, but as symbols of nurturing care, family, and domestic harmony. Bastet's role in Egyptian mythology was vast. She was seen as a protector of women, particularly during childbirth, but she was also a goddess of fertility, music, and joy, all qualities that cats symbolized in their graceful yet playful demeanor. In Egyptian homes, cats were considered earthly manifestations of Bastet, and owning a cat was seen as a way to invite the goddess's blessings of protection, prosperity, and peace into one's life. The reverence for cats in ancient Egypt went far beyond simply protecting food stores and homes. Cats were seen as sacred creatures that brought balance and order into the world. They were viewed as guardians of both the physical and spiritual realms. Egyptians believed that cats were not only protectors in life, but also in death. In Egyptian religious beliefs, the afterlife was an important concept. Egyptians believed in a world beyond death, where the soul would journey to the realm of the gods. Cats, being associated with Bastet, were seen as spiritual protectors for the deceased as well. It was common for wealthy Egyptians to be buried with their cats, either mummified or with images of them placed in the tomb. This ensured that the cats would continue to offer their protective qualities in the afterlife. Mummified cats have been found in large numbers in Egyptian tombs and temples. In fact, one of the most famous sites for cat mummies is Bubastis, the city dedicated to the goddess Bastet, where thousands of mummified cats have been discovered. Some of these cats were wrapped in intricate linen bandages and placed in elaborate sarcophagi, symbolizing their revered status. This act of mummification wasn't just for humans. It was a way of ensuring that the spirit of the cat would live on and continue its role as protector in the afterlife. Egyptian art is filled with symbolic meanings, and cats play an important role in this rich tradition. Cats were often depicted in statues, paintings, and jewelry, signifying their sacred role in Egyptian culture. In many works of art, cats are shown sitting regally next to their owners, radiating calm and power. These depictions were meant to convey the idea that the cat was both a beloved companion and a powerful divine protector. One of the most striking symbols associated with cats in Egyptian art is the image of the cat's paw. Cat's paws were often used in amulets, carvings, and jewelry, believed to carry the protective energy of the animals. Egyptians even wore jewelry featuring cats or representations of Bastet to ensure their protection. These symbols were meant to keep the household safe from evil forces and to invoke the favor of the gods. Additionally, the role of cats in the daily life of Egyptians is often highlighted in tomb art. Wealthy Egyptians would have elaborate tombs decorated with scenes of family life, and cats were sometimes included in these depictions as part of the household. These images reflected the deep connection Egyptians felt with their cats and the belief that they were integral to their well-being, both in life and in the afterlife. In ancient Egypt, cats were more than just sacred creatures. They were also symbols of social status. In homes of the elite, owning a cat signified wealth and prosperity. Cats were so highly valued that they were often given special care and attention. They were fed the finest foods and were provided with the best living conditions. The connection between cats and the upper classes was so strong that killing a cat, even accidentally, was considered a grave offense. In fact, it was punishable by death. The protection of cats was taken very seriously, and any harm done to them was seen as an offense not just to the animal, but to the gods themselves. Interestingly, the relationship between cats and humans also helped to reinforce the social structure of Egyptian society. Cats were a part of the elite's homes, but they also had a role in the homes of commoners. However, it was in the households of the wealthy that cats were most lavishly treated. This disparity in treatment reinforced the hierarchical nature of Egyptian society. While the common people likely saw cats as useful protectors of food, it was the elites who elevated them to the status of divine beings. In addition to their role in the home and the afterlife, cats even played a role in Egyptian warfare. Ancient Egyptian soldiers were known for their intense devotion to their cats, and it is said that during battles, soldiers would carry small amulets of cats with them for protection. This was not only to ensure their safety, but also to invoke the power of Bastet, whose wrath could be unleashed on those who threatened Egypt's peace. During the Persian invasion of Egypt, the Persians reportedly used the Egyptians' love for cats as a psychological tactic. Cats were so sacred to the Egyptians that the idea of harming one would be unthinkable. It is said that the Persian soldiers, aware of this, made a deliberate effort to use the presence of cats to demoralize the Egyptians, effectively rendering them hesitant to fight for fear of causing harm to these sacred animals. As Egypt's religious landscape shifted with the rise of Christianity and later Islam, the worship of Bastet and the central role of cats in Egyptian society began to fade. However, the legacy of the cat has never truly disappeared. The reverence for cats continued through the centuries, and their role as beloved companions persisted throughout Egypt's history. The influence of Egyptian cat culture spread beyond Egypt's borders. Throughout the ancient world, especially in places like Greece and Rome, cats were respected for their intelligence and beauty. In fact, the Greeks and Romans often looked to Egypt as a model of culture, and cats traveled with traders and warriors, ultimately becoming beloved pets across the Mediterranean. Today, the cat remains one of the most popular pets in the world, and their status as sacred beings in ancient Egypt still lingers in the way we view them. Cats are still seen as symbols of grace, mystery, and protection, much like they were in the time of the pharaohs. From their origins as skilled hunters to their revered status as divine protectors in ancient Egypt, cats were far more than just pets. They were symbols of protection, fertility, and divine order, qualities that made them indispensable to Egyptian society. Whether as companions to royalty or as sacred guardians in the afterlife, cats' roles in Egypt were multifaceted and significant. So the next time you look into the eyes of your own cat, remember, these creatures carry a long legacy of divine protection, grace, and mystery, one that began thousands of years ago in the land of the pharaohs. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe.